Welcome, guys. This is Always On, a brand new set of conversations about church and media and the intersection between church and media. You know, obviously in this season, COVID has happened. Corona has happened in this season. And one of the, I guess, unintended consequences is that it's pushed churches to do things they have never done before. And that's to begin to embrace the digital space in a brand new way. And it's been very exciting. I want to have a series of conversations with different folks as we go along and just try and figure out what can the church learn? What can we glean from this season? So, David Kuria, that's my name, 1000 Watts. That's what we do. But I'm here with my boy. And this guy is like the foremost, and I think in Kenya, the foremost digital evangelist, the foremost digital enabler that there is. He's my boy, been friends for many years. When you think about this guy, you think three words. You know those three words. Mental, digital shift. So we've got Mr. Mental Digital Shift himself here today with us. Richard Astar Njau.
Cheers, Kuria.
It's good to have you on Always On, man.
It's good, it's good.
Quotations for BC.
Before Corona.
During Corona.
Oh, yes.
So, karibu.
Asante sana.
So, speaking of Corona, so it's been 5 weeks since this whole kind of Corona thing started. And we're talking, the context here is church. Huh?
Okay.
And churches, as a result of this, obviously closed down and have been forced. They've been forced onto the digital space. It's not even churches have been pushed into the digital space, whether they wanted to or not, which has been interesting for me because, you know, whether it's the Anglican Church, the Catholic, the SDAs, everyone has been pushed into that space.
And globally.
And globally, yeah, absolutely, and globally. And now churches have become content creators. What's in the past 5 weeks? What have you seen? Like, what's been interesting in terms of church engagement in the digital space? That you think, oh, this is pretty cool.
Them coming online.
Yeah.
I know it sounds very simplistic when I say them coming online, but actually that's the core. So for me, this is a bit of a pre-corona, post-corona. Pre-corona, I had the privilege of going to a lot of churches.
You had preached. You had preached the message
to sort of get and embrace digital.
Yeah.
Not from a fear perspective or from a reactionary perspective, but looking at digital and saying, what's this new digital thing? And how can I be able to translate my vision or achieve my vision? Or how can I be able to achieve my vision using it? How can I literally use it? You know what I mean? Before I would say there was BC, before computers and AD after digital. Now I say there's
before
BC,
Corona.
before Corona. So before Corona, I'm saying it was so difficult, Kuria. I'm just being honest with you.
Like what was difficult? The thing for convincing churches to go into, to embrace digital?
To embrace digital. First and foremost from a live stream, just a live stream perspective. I remember, and this is literally the first church to begin live streaming in Kenya was Mavuno Church. And even about
that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, about 10 years ago. Convincing Pastor Wanjao, he had some fears, but I respect him because he embraced it and they actually jumped on. Convincing people to do full-time church Monday to Monday, forget about Sunday, on digital was extremely difficult. So for me, the biggest applaud that I can give the church is that the church has now embraced digital. So much so that the church is creating the church. So on Facebook, there's different segments. So there's government pages, there's NGO pages, there's religious pages, and there's the church under that. The church is producing more content than any other sector in the world.
Like currently?
Currently.
You know, that's...
just understand that.
For me, that thing is so crazy, yeah? That what you're saying is that the church right now is the #1 content creator on the digital space.
In the world.
In the world.
In the world. So, I mean, like this...
And I have a question for you. What has really changed? Is it Corona that has changed? Is it our mindset that has changed? Because we had the capacity all along. We were always able to do it.
The cameras.
Why are we doing it now?
It's the mindset is. I call it the mental digital shift.
Yeah.
The mindset is. It's beginning to change now. You know what I mean? And they're beginning to see it's become more acceptable of digital. Forced, yes, because of what's happened with COVID-19.
Yeah.
You know, when guys who say corona, you can tell where they're from.
I guess Rona. Rona's here.
I mean,
yeah.
You cannot engage with your people unless you get into the digital space. So now, but what that should show you is that, oh my God, digital actually is giving me accessibility. You have to understand the reasons as to why you were being asked to get onto digital before. So you're right, it is a mindset that is becoming more acceptable to digital.
And you know, for me, Richie, that's so interesting because you're saying right now the church is creating more content than anyone else, but we've always had the capacity. We've had the knowledge, we've had the content, we've had the gear, we've had the internet. Everything has been available for us, but and maybe this is not. Maybe this is. I don't say Corona is a good thing.
Yes.
But I guess one of the positive things that has come out of it is that it's forced the church to become something it had the capacity to be all this time. Who do you think in the before Corona days was doing well? Who did you see and you thought, okay, here are some guys who are beginning to kind of get this thing?
Okay, excellent question. Mavuno started off very well. 2008, I mean, early 2010s, they started out very well in terms of digital reflecting, capturing. In fact, putting even their content on YouTube. Mavuno was one of the first churches literally to put their church.
And then even this thing for live tweeting.
Yes.
Which I remember.
So I call it digital reflection. Digital reflection basically means taking what is happening offline and reflecting it online for a congregation that is online. So they were extremely good at that. Papa Center, I mean, they had a dip along the way, and we'll talk about a bit that later. Papa Center, I remember having a conversation with Pastor Julian and Jackie, who's there. They took this thing and ran. But for me, the people who I think are here.
CITAM. I know you're going to say CITAM.
CITAM Church Online.
For sure.
I mean, let's talk about let me
CITAM
tell you
Church
what
Online.
CITAM Church are doing. Not only were they, CITAM Church Online was, they looked at it, first and foremost, the Pastor Kuchio.
Big up. Great job.
You have to understand the mindset in which CITAM Church Online started digital. They looked at it like a church plant. Have you understood that? The way people go and plant.
And they had like different. They had like different staff, a different team that was running their digital.
Exactly. So for them, they were planting another branch, but this branch was on the digital platform. So they had their own Sunday services online. So they would go and shoot the bishop.
What do you mean? What do you mean they had their own services online?
So on Sunday, it's not a digital reflection.
So they weren't capturing the CITAM service and broadcasting it.
They would go and shoot. So Sundays was being done by Bishop Oginde. They would shoot him, and in the morning they would put it. But CITAM had an always-on mentality. So Sunday morning, 5 a.m. a service. Sunday evening, 5 p.m. a youth service. Monday, 2 services every single day, non-stop. I mean, Kuria, let's be real, that's a lot of work.
You know, Richie, for me,
Monday to Monday.
And I talk about CITAM Church Online frequently, because, and I tell guys, CITAM Church is going to become the global leader in content, in Christian content. Because if you think about it, I don't know, even you talk about your big churches, your Steve Furticks and your TD Jakes and whatnot, who's creating, people who are not reflecting their online content, people who are creating unique digital content.
It's called digital exclusive execution.
How many guys are doing that on a daily? Because CITAM do how many videos a day? 2-3 videos a day.
True.
Every single day of the week. And for them, I think it's just put them in a very, very strong position.
And Kuria, let me add, you've got a report that's coming out. In fact,
maybe I'll talk about it. So what we've been doing with 1,000 watts is over the past 5 weeks, we've actually been tracking. We've been tracking 5 different churches. 12 different churches across Nairobi. And we've been looking at a couple of things. One is we look at their live stream on Sunday morning. So we just go into their live stream, take a look at it, see what are the numbers on their live stream. We've been looking at engagement. Engagement is huge because engagement tells you, are people buying into your content? Are they sharing? Are they commenting? Things like that. And then we've been looking at, you know, views on the video, which is just really about visibility more than anything else. And the report is available. You can get on the link at the bottom, 1000watts.com. You can find it there. But what's been interesting for me is even looking at CITAM is that for them, they're already ahead of the curve. Because they're not starting this thing from scratch. So over the past 5 weeks, I've talked to maybe about 12.5 churches just about what they are doing on their digital space. There's one church I talked to, and they told me, and this is a large church, many of you guys don't know it, I don't want to mention the name, but they told me that they bought their cameras for the first time. What are we calling it? Not BC, after AC
after COVID,
or during COVID. Yeah. And I just thought to myself, oh my goodness.
This is the first time they're buying.
This is the first time they've spent maybe about 2 million. They bought cameras, they bought lights, they bought mics, they bought all of this stuff for the very first time. And they're trying to figure out what, and this is a church, by the way, of a couple of thousand people in Nairobi. Middle class church, and I just thought, oh my goodness. So definitely CITAM. But let me ask you a question about this thing for, what are you seeing in terms of this digital reflection? Is that where we should be at? Is that what we should be doing in this season as churches? If you are talking to a church, because I think it's very easy to say the service is going on, just plonk a camera there and put it on the digital space, which is what we've seen people do in the past. So you have this thing for there's a digital mindset, and then there's digital reflection.
Okay, so this is what happened. Because people didn't have the digital mindset as the lockdown happened, as churches were told to stop. They reacted. They didn't sit down, plan. This wasn't thought through. They reacted. And they just said, we need to be on Sunday. By hook or crook, we need to be on. Now, again, let me say this. I have to applaud that because it is starting.
Oh yeah.
Digitally, it's...
May always forget, starting is half the battle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what puts a smile, not even on my face, on my heart.
Yeah.
That churches started. Now, did they start the right way? Have they fumbled along the way? 100% they have. I'll give an example. So there are people who put cameras and it's very clear you're talking to an empty room. You know what I mean?
I know, by the way.
And we're watching you online and you're like...
And sometimes you'll see the cameras even pan and you see the empty chairs in the...
Exactly. But talk to me. Your audience moved, but that is a mindset that, of course, now this is new. They've just been flung on.
So we've transferred our offline experience into the digital space without asking ourselves, what does having a digital strategy look like?
So let me say this. It was okay to digitally reflect before when you had an audience.
Where
it's very clear you're not speaking to me. It's like it's like I'm not speaking to you at the camera. It was clear that it was a different conversation happening. The audience understood that.
We got it. Because it's like joining a live event.
Yes.
But
now this isn't a live event. The audience is online. How you interact, how you keep them engaged, it's very different from how it was being done previously. So, but let me start by just commending churches that were like, I need to get online. So that for me showed a thinking that you... Even
if you're fumbling, even if you're messing up, it's like...
So I've gotten many phone calls of people telling me, how do you do a live stream? Because it is in the doing that you learn. You get? So
I like that. It's in the doing. It's in the doing that you learn.
This is the practical. This is the first time a lot of people. But it's in the doing that you learn. Even I'm still learning till today. But let me say another thing that happened is everybody. So there are limitations to that transfer. So, of doing a digital reflection. So for example, everybody is just doing 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. The exact same time your service used to be. People come on Sunday. They do that. And they're like, phew.
So whatever we're doing, however we're doing offline is what we are doing online.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Let me ask you then, what would you tell a church in terms of even format? Because we've just carried our offline format into the online space. So you've got your half-hour worship set.
Exactly the same.
You've got your announcements, or whatever it is that you call it, for maybe 10, 15 minutes. and then you've got your sermon, and then you've got your maybe your prayer or your songs after. It's a standard format. So I want us to come back in a bit and just talk about this whole thing of format and what it means for us to have, I like what you call it, the digital exclusive execution.
DEE.
I want us to talk about that in just a bit. But for me, the critical thing that I've gotten here is starting. Starting is half the battle, and we have to applaud the guys who have started. If you want to take a look at the report and just kind of get a sense of how churches have done over the past 5 weeks, the link is at the bottom, 1000watts.com. You can actually find a report there that will help you. But we'll be back in a minute with that conversation for what should our digital expression look like.